Hi, my name is Quynn Red Mountain, and this is Finding Peace, Meditations for Veterans. And the theme, I would say, of all of these meditations is that they are earth-based. Each one is 10 to 12, 13, 14 minutes, and each one has an energy of some element of nature that helps us in some way, in our imagination, in our vision, in our ability to connect with these parts of our beautiful world and help us feel safe in the moment, even a bit safer in the moment. So I am imaginatively in the middle of a very large waterfall. I've actually been to this waterfall before, and it is 2 layers, right? So it starts way up high and it goes down and then it goes down again. And if you have ever been by a waterfall, you know the sound and the feeling of it. So this is silent, because then your imagination can fill in or come up with whatever might feel helpful in the moment, which we'll get to in a minute. The other element of being by a waterfall is the mist, the wind that it creates, because the moving water creates this rush of air as well. And then as it's falling over the cliff, the mist just comes at you. But it's gentle, even though it's kind of intense. It's all these little bits of water, right? Falling and moving on the air. Different than rain. Even different than misty kind of rain. It's from this thing, this rushing amount of water. And sometimes our emotions can feel that way as well, right? Just this rush of emotion. And sometimes we feel like we're falling off a cliff, just like the water in the waterfall. But it does land, and then it keeps going. So I think that a waterfall can be a helpful image or place to either be in the physical world, if you're so lucky, in a moment to be able to be by such a waterfall, or in your mind. And that's what we're going to do right now. So I hope you're in a place where you won't be startled, and maybe earbuds, headphones, something where the sound, especially because I'm going to bring in my drum, and the light drum will be right at your ears if you have your device in. So a place where you feel comfortable, could be a public place, a private place, but a place where you do feel comfortable. That's important. And I know you may say, well, I don't feel comfortable anywhere. I hear that. So a place where maybe in your car, maybe in your truck, that's a great place. Lock those doors and in you are. To have a private experience where you can let go of some of the surroundings where you are in the physical world and begin to turn your attention inward, back into yourself in a way that feels okay. This isn't a woo-woo kind of experience. This is self-care and maintenance. One other aspect of a waterfall, which we're going to work with, and this is just for a few minutes, right? Couple handfuls of minutes, is the clearing, that when that mist and the wind, the whoosh comes and it moves across you and all around you, you could even imagine what that would feel like. And it's cool. It's a cool breeze and a cooling effect moving water is very good for us. It's moving mist like that. It creates what we call negative ions, which is calming. A dry, persistent hot wind is irritating. That's too much positive ions. So sometimes positive isn't good and negative is good, depending. So right now, negative ions, good. Moving bits of water around and on us is clearing, it moves the stuff we don't need anymore if we allow it to. All right, so a comfortable position, a place where you can be, and I have my drum. This is a mountain that is important to me. I painted this. Maybe you have some kind of creative expression, even if you think, nah, I'm not into that. Well, it can be helpful to be in the moment. It's called mindfulness, right? To just not be thinking about the past or the future, but just bring yourself right here. And by doing something repetitive or focused, even a little bit mindless, right? Where you don't have to think about every step that you're doing. Very helpful activities where you're working with your body in some way. Very helpful. All right. So if you want to close your eyes and you feel comfortable doing that, you're welcome to do that. If you want to keep them open, but maybe just a soft gaze somewhere close, maybe far, maybe you can just let your vision be a little softer than normal, meaning you're not focusing so much on all the details. And I know that can be very challenging. I know. Just a little bit of drum beat. The drum has been with humans forever. Our heartbeat is our first drum. So even if you're not very familiar with drumming, just allow it to support you as if the drum beats might be, they have your back. So a soft gaze or eyes closed. Maybe take in a deep breath as much as you can, a little extra breath. And then let it out, almost to the degree that you could imagine that extra air that's stuck down in the bottom of your lungs, that when you breathe in a shallow way, you don't really get to it. So maybe on your next breath, you could breathe in just a bit deeper. And so you expand your lungs. Then you let your breath out. Maybe feel and notice the different parts of your body that are touching that which supports you right now. Your chair, your bed, your car seat, whatever it is, the ground. And notice the specific places that are touching that which supports you. Just bring all of your attention to those places, even if it's one. Notice how it feels to have something support your body. And then breathe. Breathe even a little deeper. You might yawn. Sorry if that makes you yawn. And then exhale. And maybe when you exhale, you could just imagine that you're letting go just even a little bit of that which is burdening you, troubling you, or on your mind. You could imagine that on your breath, just even a little bit of that goes. And now, with a part of your mind, one part reminds you of where you are. Maybe another part of your mind can imagine a big waterfall and that you're by it, either at the top of it, the middle of it, or the bottom of it at a safe distance, whatever feels good. Almost like you can imagine it even a bit more realistically. Even if you've never been to a waterfall, you could imagine it, this big column of falling water right by you, and the wind of it almost takes your breath away. You can hear it, and you could imagine now the loud rumble, the white noise, the tumbling water crashing down onto the ground, but you're safe. The sound filling your ears where there's no more room for any other sound, maybe except for my voice and my drum. Even if it feels like you're making it up, it's okay. Just let it be. Just imagine a waterfall. And there might even be a part of you in this imagination where you're like, waterfall, please take this shit away. Take away a bit of the burden, a bit of the challenge. Just imagine it scooping up little bits of what is burdening you, a bit of pain, a feeling, whatever it is. You could just imagine that it is rushing back behind you downstream, right? Because all of these waterfalls, they go to the ocean. I am in the west of the states, so all of these waterfalls on this side go to the Pacific. And then breathe in what you imagine is that moist, cool air created by this amazing waterfall. You might even imagine that you yell or make a sound because no one can hear you. The waterfall covers all of it. So you might imagine that you are right in a safe place, but right at the edge of this waterfall, one way or the other, wherever, top, middle, bottom. But if you're at the bottom, you're getting the full force, the full emphasis, the full dose of all of the falling water. So you might even imagine that. If you're at the top, you're watching it go over, which is a whole different experience. And just imagine that you scream at the waterfall, that you yell at the waterfall. Something that has been making you angry, frustrated, and not at the waterfall, but that the waterfall can absorb it, right? Move it, take it. The waterfall is your friend right now, even if you've never been a friend of a waterfall. Then breathe in that moist air that's being offered to you by this waterfall. And as you exhale, imagine that you turn and face downstream and let it go. And then you breathe a couple more times. Feel your feet. Imagine that your feet, there's your physical feet, wherever they are, and then there's your imagination feet, which are somewhere around this waterfall. And you could ask your waterfall feet to help you stay grounded when you start to feel anxious or nervous, whatever it may be. And as the drum beat begins to go quiet, imagine your own heart. heart that is seeking its own healing. Thank you for all that you've done, even all that you weren't able to do, even the things you wish you didn't have to do. You are supported. It's okay to ask for help. In the silence, maybe there's even one thing you could offer gratitude for right now after these last few minutes. Maybe forgetting about some of the things for even just a second. Maybe right now a bit of a sense more calm than before, maybe. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. I hope to see you again in one of these times. And acceptingtheashes.net is the website for my book, Accepting the Ashes, a daughter's look at military post-traumatic stress. But the reason I brought that up is because I do work in the arena of soul restoration. And so if there's a time when you feel like you need some help or witness, you can reach out through the website. All right. Many waterfall blessings to you. Be well. You're important. You're needed here. Bye-bye.